Yo, 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 what up, people of MCR? My name is Chino, and this would be my Spain circuit guide, as well as try to teach you guys how to better prepare. Um, and yeah, I don't edit these, but if someone could send me like DM me like a free editing software, I definitely will put a little more time into these. I kind of just shoot it off the dome. But I'm gonna take it step by step into how I prepare for a race, um, and all that. How I learn a track, and yeah. So what I typically do, just say my week is my race. 6 days out. I typically, we play on Sunday. I'm in Grade 1, so we race on Sundays. I do the race on Sunday. Typically feel good going into it, and then I don't play after that because it's just tiring a race. Um, I get on Monday, and so say if this week we're gonna do Spain on Sunday, what I'd first do is I'd go into time trial. I don't really recommend time trial for anything other than learning a track. Um, it's just time trial gives you a lot of false sense of grip. So I'm gonna talk to you a little bit about setup, what I do in time trial to help me learn the track a little easier. And yeah, so first thing I would do to help learn a track is in my settings, time trial settings, I have these settings on. So I don't display my ghosts. I don't display my best telemetry mode, whatever that is. I don't display the rival ghost, but I will display full the rival telemetry mode, and this is off as well. Because what this is basically is I typically always set my rival as to the first esports player I recognize on the leaderboard. So this is Declan Barrett. So what I do is I set him as my rival, and now on the track I see his line that he's taking and where he's braking, which I think is probably one of the best ways to learn a track. This is just to learn for quality. When it comes to actual races, and brake on the normal racing line where it tells you and follow the normal racing line because again, quality to time trial, that grip is completely different to on Spain. The normal strategy is medium hards. So what I do is set him as a rival and then I load his setup. Um, Now I haven't really looked at this yet, um, but in my honest opinion, I think this is one of the few time trial setups that you could probably take from time trial straight into a race. Only thing I would do is probably for a race is bump the rear suspension up to about 8 or 10 or even 11, and then I'd lower the rear ride height maybe like 2 or 3. Those are the only kind of changes. And also raise the ride height a few values as well. I would look it up to see what's kind of average around here because I don't know off the top of my head. But yeah, this is super high downforce track. 50-38 wings are perfectly fine for a race or quali. 50-40 is also fine. What I typically run for quali is 50-39. And then for the race, 49-39, I just lower it one click, just get a little bit extra top speed. But yeah, so what I'm going to do next is probably do some hot laps, and then I'll take it more corner by corner into a practice session, which is what I do to prepare for a race. So, yeah, so we go into the lap, and if you see that yellow line, actually, let me turn off the racing line. It'll help you guys see it. I don't really need it for this track. Um, so that yellow line is the line he's following, and whenever it's a little like a little line, I guess you could say, horizontal line, that's when he's braking. Also, for those of you that are kind of new to trail braking and all that and don't really understand it yet or still using ABS and whatnot, I'd pay attention to my braking inputs, the little red bar in the bottom left of the screen. Also, my throttle pedal is a little broken right now. It flickers a shit ton, so I'm trying to get that fixed ASAP because it's losing me time, but don't really pay attention to that. I mean, you can still see how I traction. I don't use any assists besides the racing line, which I'm in a lot of leagues where there are no assists, so that not even that's allowed. I'm in the transition phase between it being on and off. But yeah, Spain's my favorite track. Definitely one of my best. So long straight, starting on pole sucks. You're going to brake past 100, down to 5th, eat these curbs, and try to fight the traction. And on the uphill for quality, follow a tight line, almost hugging this red inside curve. This corner, you're going to brake right after the 50, or at the 50, hug it tight, traction out. Okay, now downhill, down to 3rd gear. I don't really know what I think it's like at the 60 meter is where you're braking. I kind of fucked that up. Here, brake lightly to 4th and eat these inside sausage curbs. And come out wide. Here, completely flat. Touch the inside curb just a little bit, not too much. You don't want to settle the car, which I did there, but it's okay. Here, I downshift down to 4th gear, leaving in 7th. I touched the grass. And then traction out, up to 5th. Light brake, let the car rotate in 4th. So get your foot back on the gas, nice and gentle. And this is all flat. This is still flat, I keep it in 6th. Yeah, that was a little rough. It's kind of sliding all over the place, but it is really hard to try to be as fast as I possibly can and talk through the whole thing. And yeah, let me do one more lap. I'll go corner by corner, and then next I'll kind of go into how you should practice for the race once you've done this kind of step of learning a track. Because again, I don't recommend it. It gives you a lot of false hope. So yeah, so turn 1, you're braking. There's a little gray on the left side right here. This little concrete. That's where I would typically brake, or like right on it as it pops up. You want to eat these sausage curbs right here without invalidating. Come back into the inside. Don't touch that yellow sausage curb there, but you could almost keep it flat. Come out wide. Touch this curb a little bit. Hold it tight. Hold it tight. It's a little hard, but just hold it tight. What this is doing is you're minimizing the overall track distance. So it might gain you like half a tenth, but sometimes that half a tenth is just the difference between, you know, P1 and P2, you know, or whatever. So every little hundredth, every little thousandth of a second always counts. Right here is at the 50. I go from 7th gear to 4th. You want to hug it tight, but get your foot on the power ASAP. So then you're going to go back to the inside on the downhill, typically from 6th to 3rd gear. Rotate, touch this inside curb a little bit, come out wide without invalidating the lap. Here again, it's a light brake from 6th to 4th gear. You kind of want to brake right here, a little after the curbing on the right hand side starts. You're in 4th gear, and here is when you actually want to go over those yellow sausage curbs. Let me show you again. I was going. This is the quickest way through it, which is BS because they are curbs, but you do want to eat them here. So you eat them, boom, boom. It unsettles the car a little bit, but that's okay. Come out wide. Let me replay again. Obviously this yellow sausage curbs on the right will really mess it up, so be careful not to touch them, because that's what will invalidate you, spin you out. That really unsettles your car. You don't want to touch those. Here, this is completely flat in 6th gear. I take it. You want to touch this inside curb, but not that yellow sausage, just a little bit, and fling yourself out back wide. Open up the DRS. Here, I let it ride out in 7th gear because it's a little better to ride out your gears this year. Ride it out in 7th gear, and I brake down to 4th gear. Your normal trail braking. Turn it in. As I'm getting my foot back on the power, try to get it full throttle, up to 5th. And you could take that corner in 3rd gear if you feel like your car's understeering and you need that little bit of extra rotation. But if you do that, I would recommend you short shift up to 4th on the traction out. Or if you want to ride it out on 3rd gear up to 5th, just obviously got to be that much more smoother on the power and to not cause yourself to spin out. So now you're going to, about right here is where you want to go down to the 4th and let the car rotate, and then you're back on the power. Nice and gentle, nice and smooth. And then this final corner is completely flat. It is not flat on heavy fuel, but in quality and all that, easy flat. Yeah, okay, so with that time trial being done, you learn the track, you learn the esports line. What I would typically do next is, I'll show you exactly how. Let me drink some water. what I typically do next is I go into Grand Prix mode and I do a practice session just to get this out of the way. I cannot share my setup because I've paid for it. I use Sim Racing Center for my setups. I don't really understand how to, fully build. I understand some things about a setup, but I'm not too um, knowledge in every little value and what they all mean. So that's why I buy them. Makes my life easier. For me, it's worth the money. But yeah, so not here. Weekend structure. We typically do single session practice format. We do short quality on an MCR, and then you want to put the session length to long because if it's on medium or anything shorter, this practice format is 30 minutes instead of an hour. Which, if that's all you really want to do, go ahead. I just like, even if I don't do spend a full hour in this practice session, I like that, I have an hour at least that I could spend. I try to copy all, race settings. So except right now, I want to just do clear weather. Don't want to worry about it going in there and it's raining. Always, I keep corner cutting on strict because we gotta get into the habit of not cutting the corners. Being on the limit without getting warnings and penalties. Trust me, I know how much nicer it is to have it on regular. You don't really get penalized for anything, but you want to start building those good habits of having it on strict. Park frame I keep off because we're just practicing. Sometimes I make little setup changes, and then I kind of leave all this off as well, or like whatever this is. Simulation settings, I keep damage and reduce because I do want. Yeah, I mean it doesn't really matter. Low fuel mode, hard. Keep that realistic because if you run out of fuel or under fuel, you want to be able to run out. Yeah, so we're gonna go into start event. And again, my wings, like I said, are 50-39. I would lower them to 49-39 for the race. Okay. So in this case, I'm gonna do a quali lap on I'm gonna do a quali lap on softs. But what I typically do, let me look up how many laps a 50% race is. Sorry, I don't know off the top of my head. $66 laps. All right. So what I would do to practice, because the most important thing is learning. Sorry, Mark is pissing me off. Is getting used to driving with heavy fuel. So I would typically use this time to figure out my strategy, which I know for this track is medium hards. I always like starting on the softer compound, then moving to the harder, because with early safety cars and whatnot, I like the ability to get off them early, go to the harder compound, and then if I have to box again towards the end of the race without a safety car, because my hards are giving up, I could go back to the mediums or the softs, or even with a late safety car, I could go to the softs, whatever. So that's what I like to do. Why does he keep talking? So what I would do to practice for the race is, instead of just grinding out time trial or qualifying, is I would go to fuel load, and I know this is going to be 33 laps. So I'd raise this all the way to how much fuel I'd use in an actual race. So probably about 56 kilograms. All right, and then I go out on the mediums. I mean, I guess might as well show this. Do flying lap to make it quicker. And I start just practicing this. I start getting my reps in. Because the quicker you be with heavy fuel on these tires, the quicker you are for qualifying. Sorry, I don't really remember these braking points. And yeah, so say I go through 2-3 laps or whatever. I try to do a full stint, so I think it's like 14 on mediums, and I don't know what the split is. 15 on mediums, 21 on hards. But say, you don't even have to do the full stint. But say I did 14 laps on the mediums, and I want to go start practicing the hards. I would take out 14 laps of fuel. Why does he keep talking, man? I go down to 20 laps of fuel, switch to the hards, and I run my stints again. And the more you do that, the more comfortable you get with heavy fuel, compounded tires, the quicker you will get with the softer compound tire on low fuel, because you could just maximize the performance on low fuel. It helps you get faster. Trust me, I know. For time's sake, it's simpler to just practice time trial or to practice a quality session or whatever. But that is not going to help you nearly as much as heavy fuel runs, hard tire runs. It is so much better. I highly recommend that. I'm going to turn back on the line, and I'm going to take you guys through a quali lap at full push. Let me actually put this to 2D. Typically, I would do the drive out or my tires, whatever, because I don't want any wear. And I know when I do flying lap, I'm going to have like 5% wear to start the lap. But, I mean, for time's sake, and I'm not editing this, I'm just going to do flying lap. And yeah, any feedback on these videos is appreciated. Feel free. Just don't be too much of a dickhead, and we'll be good. Yeah. Yeah, I have 3% wear. I typically like to go on 5 kg. You can go on more if you're going to do multiple runs on the same tire. It's fully up to preference. I like to do one run, even if I invalidate it, finish it, come back in. I gotta put on hot lap. Alright, so for hot lap and quali, you put on hot lap out of the final corner. You use the battery down to 61%. So I kind of look down, 61, turn it off. I'm going to brake here. I like going to 4th gear, eat that inside curb. Try to stick the power as flat as I can. Hug this inside curb. I'm going to lower my brake bias to 51 because that's what I like for quali. 4th gear. Power out. Down to 3rd gear. Sorry about my breathing. I have asthma, and this game makes me breathe through every corner. Eat that inside sausage curb, not the best. Could be quicker. Easy flat. Use the power, or battery, sorry. I went a little deep. It's all good. And the 4th, power out. Use the battery. Kind of want to drain it in this part. Turn it off for the corner, and then use it down to the line. And you've used almost perfect amount of battery. 113 to my standards is not, it's not that good. But yeah. So hopefully this helped in any capacity. Any constructive feedback on what I should make sure to include in these videos and whatnot, feel free to let me know. If you have any questions or need anything to be clarified, feel free to @ me in the chat, DM me. Does not bother. I'm always willing to help. And I'm gonna try to make these videos weekly for you guys. I do work, so when they come out, how early they come out in the week and whatnot varies around that. But yeah, I hope you guys enjoyed. My name is Chino, so if you need someone to @ or find, I'm Chino is Discord as well, and that's how you can find me. Alright, thanks for tuning in. Goodbye.